I'm gonna do this in practice mode. Where I'm giving y'all something, you know. Tired of going to games and keep getting blue screen. Or I gotta deal with people rage quitting or something like that, and the next game I get blue screen. I ain't got time for that, right? I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of time to join in. We're gonna do this a little bit of live Q&A type stuff, right? I guarantee you. Make sure y'all put this on full screen, and I guarantee you after this stream y'all will be better mentally, offensively, and defensively. I'm gonna break this shit down for you. Make this shit simple. Okay? These chips are good. Alright, so one of the first things that I kind of want to go ahead and get off my chest is operating zone split runs. We can do it from any formation. Obviously, the thing is, usually you want, when you get a zone split, you're not necessarily running the spot where it says to go, the red route that's on the screen. What you're doing is you're basically running it like a counter. Okay, see how the run goes right there, but your lead block's going to the other side. So basically what you're going to do when you're running zone splits, you're faking it like you're going through that gap, and then you're going to cut the stick back to the other side, and you're just going to follow your block. Okay, so it's just going to be run like this, then cut out like that. Okay, it's either pretty much how you run zone splits. It's very good, like when people like to shoot gaps. You know, if you're just running a standard zone, you know, you don't have that extra blocker to kick it out to. Okay, so if you're just running inside zone, you know, they might box that up, or they might send two guys through that hole. But if they don't, you know, you can always just usually cut it back. In a game, you can. Now, practice mode, you know how practice mode is. I'm just gonna kind of run it a couple of times. Run it. Yeah, practice mode, they're just gonna sit there and wait on it, but they expect you to run right at it. But in a game, like if you're playing as a user, what you're gonna do usually, like especially if they're blitzing, is you're just gonna cut it out. Like, see how it opened up? You're gonna just cut it out. Okay, so that's pretty much you're gonna be your zone split. We'll do it from different formations so that y'all can see. This is not necessarily one of the better formations to run. I mean, you can run a zone split here in this formation, but let's go to other formations like that are a little bit better for it. Like wing tight's good for it. Just got to bear with me of that. I don't know what defense I need to be in for to. There we go. Usually you go and play someone online, you'll be able to get that run to break pretty often. Right now it's just fine. With it being on Ahmed, my offensive line isn't necessarily great, so they're getting a lot of shits. But you pretty much got the idea. Sometimes you'll swerve it, sometimes you can take the lane, like this a weak side. And they say they drop someone in zone, you could probably just go that way, get the easy yards. Like, if they're going heavy to one side, I don't know if he's going to switch. See how he switched. So he's got 4 on the left, 3 on the right. Yeah, so they're just going to keep doing that. I don't know why. Look in practice mode. I'm not going to run it. Yeah, so I just got to run it left. They're not going to let me run it the way I want to. The way I want to show you, so I'm going to try to find one of these formations. It's There's actually a couple of them. He's just strong. There we go. Kind of just cut it back a little bit on the inside. Yeah, they're just going to keep blitzing. They're not going to let me demonstrate the effectiveness. I swear, man, fucking practice well. I mean, it's effective running. So there we go. See, that's what I'm talking about. You get it and then you cut it back. There should be a lane through that B gap, assuming they give it to you, right? You don't want to cut too hard, because then he stops his feet. Just kind of sway it a little bit. Alright guys, y'all gotta block better. There we go. So this is pretty much all you're gonna do with your zone splits. Now, once you get good at running zone splits, you want to build a play action repertoire off of them. Okay? So, what you're going to be looking for is like slides, like the play action U drag wheel. Trying to see if there's like anything where it's like bootlegs, PA slides, stuff like that. And that's what I like to pass out of. You want to sell that run, right? You can keep the sell like you're doing the run. You want to roll all the way out, all the way out. Usually that play right there is good outside the numbers. You don't want to throw it before. What I would do is I would do a package adjustment, okay? Because you have to consider your tight ends, right? Go in here and look at our tight ends blocking. Because I'm looking for like an impact block, really. So Monroe got a 68. Bingo got a 69. See, that's probably what I need to do. Because I would probably just come out in this formation and use a fullback. Like, not all teams have a fullback that's good, right? So just put a fullback right there, and then put a fast tight end right there. A little bit more speed than what Moreau was giving me, right? Go like that, and then I'll have Ingo, his blocking, and you'll be able to sell it off of that. You can opt to do the block release. Roll out all the way outside the numbers so the zones just dumb out. You'll kill a lot of stuff. You'll kill like the two-man under spammers. You'll kill the, you know, their user's gonna have to respect that. You know, if they like to use it, that safety on the opposite side, then you can obviously look for that U cross. If they give it to you, like right there, see how they give it to me. A lot of misdirections, right? Right in the bread bucket. Right in that bread basket. Pretty solid. I'm gonna throw that one away. Just wait till it goes right outside the number, boom. I've been using this play a lot online lately. Probably like one of my staple passes. Pretty simple to set up. Just run it outside. You already know them crossers are deadly, man. Especially like if you have like a 40-yard crosser like that route. It's not like a traditional one. That's like 30, 40 yards. Now it would help if you had a faster receiver, but you kind of do want some side. Like you don't even necessarily need to roll all the way out. You got good pass protection. It's definitely like a deadly route, that has to be respected, and then you just have the vertical over the top of it. What you could do, you could motion him inside as well so that he can get over that sideline a little bit faster. And it opens up a lot quicker, or actually more yards than him being all the way to the outside, because you can pass lead while he's still in motion. So I'm going to end up doing that. Just go ahead and motion him in so that you can get under that vertical a lot quicker. That's actually pretty good. Now, again, you still got to be able to scheme off of it, right? You don't want to just give it away. So you can go back to your zone split. There we go. See what I was talking about? So that'll be your motion inside the number. Almost. I don't know if I can. Good user. Looked like I wasn't gonna get it. Carr, you gotta put some air on that, bro. Shouldn't be short. Here in a second, let's see if I can do another motion. Let's see. Boom, that shit. Every time they play the wrong coverage, man, you gonna get that shit wide open. I don't know if he can motion left. It's too high safety. Watch the left safety come down. It's cover 3. Right over there in the breadbasket. Like that route right there is going to be your money. It's going to be your go-to. You can scheme off of it. Like I do have different variations of this PA drag. So the next one we got is the boot slide. So we can still operate out of it. And this time we'll have the options of the flat. Don't do it against man coverage. You can catch them in the zone, you can go the boot slide. They're backing everybody up, they get scared or whatnot. Flat wide open. That's another thing that you do have to be kind of careful with when running a play action. It's like sometimes you run those bootlegs and they just constantly spam contains. You're not going to be able to effectively run them like you want. Something you're just going to roll out into them, and you don't want to do that. You try to throw it away, and you'll get those strip sack fumbles, and you'll be like, what the fuck? So you just kind of pay attention to how your opponent starts playing you first before you start breaking out into play action runs. Try to keep them honest with the runs. Usually they won't contain as much if you're running the ball, but then again, people, they spam, so you have to be mindful of that. Most people won't actually start adjusting to what you're doing until you've already beaten them. Like, man, I'm not talking about just one time. I'm not talking about 2 times. From my experience, people will bend and break and stay in the same shit until it's too late. Like, literally, like, game will be over before they decide, you know, to start adjusting to the ski. You know, they don't take the time to try to figure it out. They just figure that their little one-play miracles are gonna work. Okay, don't be that guy. Like, I'm gonna show you how to run some plays, but don't be into the conception that one play is gonna stop everything or end all be all. So, like, let's give you another clear example. Like, when you're trying to run, like, let's say if you want to do the power O, and then I'm going to teach you how to scheme your hot routes off the power O to make it more, you know, viable that that's what you're doing, as opposed to, you know, some of these runs where the fullback just goes to the flat. You're not necessarily selling the run. Okay, I'm going to teach you guys how to sell the run out of some of these power O play actions, and then we'll go from there. All right, so let's give you a good example. Let's just show you the power O, and pay attention to the fullback right here. Okay, watch how he runs, see how he goes up. Instead of straight to the flat, he's going like kind of going up a little bit. He's looking for someone to block, usually in the second level or whatnot. So he's just going up. It's not like he's going straight to the flat. Now if I just go with a play action play, I'm going to go here in a sec. And I love running power up. That's like one of my staple runs. But let me kind of give you an example here. All right. Let's say we're going to PA. Notice how the pullback, he's still going to the flat. Like, he'll kind of sell it, but not really, you know. Because then what you're going to have is you've got 2 routes going into the same spot on the field. And I do not suggest you guys doing that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to give him a hot route from his current position. What that's going to do is going to give him an up, like a step between the gap, go up, and then run the route. Okay, now because he has that, now I can do other stuff, right? So that's what you want to look, you know, you want to scheme off of that, make your run look like that. Looks like he's still going upfield to block, and then look at there, you got your flood concept, good user catch. You sell the run a little bit better when you do stuff like that. Or you could opt to do, you know, maybe an option route if you wanted to go a little bit deeper instead of just going straight to the what you call it. So let's say we just go with the option route. You can go over here. Probably just use this route on the field. So those are your 2 options. You can do the in route, the out route, and the option. I don't think you could do the curl. I'm trying to see. That's probably going to be the best. The best option is going to be option route. Just get them with a complex flood concept. So instead of actually running to the flat and selling the flat, you're going up the middle and to the flat. So I don't know if I can get him the motion now. So if you're going to run that, just run a slant over the top. And then that post is going to pull everything back for that slant to get open underneath. Just make sure you're not getting blitzed. Now what I could do, I can extend on that. I can go vertical, slant, in route, like that. And that can really open that slant up. Or if I want to take off on my quarterback, you know, if you have a mobile quarterback, you probably take off with it. Or I could send him on a curl slant like that. So if they're playing like a match or anything, see how I froze the defenders. That was a match coverage. I'm gonna explain this. Usually, if you're attacking match coverages, you can have a route just kind of just freeze 2 zones, just like that. See, the defender is not like the way AI works. Is they're not going to cross all the way to the field. He's going to assume that once a route stops, if he's coming across, he's not going to cross outside that route that stops. Okay, so I have that curl route there. He's going to stop on that curl, but the issue here is the other guy that's supposed to be defending that zone, they're going to bracket. Okay, he obviously doesn't have anything over here in the flat, so I'm just kind of looking, paying attention. That's like a cover 3 match. What happens is, what I'm doing with the fullback, because he's not initially going to the flat. Okay, if you ran him to the flat, that same flat defender would drop to the flat instead of covering this. Okay, I wish I could probably just go back up against it again, kind of explain things to you fellas. Alright, that was a cover 3 match, and no mistaking on that. Alright, a lot of people get the misconceptions of those seam flat zones, and you know, they get beat off to the sideline, and they're like, you know, why I got beat? I think I had a curl flat. You didn't have a curl flat, you had a seam flat. Seam flat is a match zone, meaning it's going to protect those seams first and foremost. Okay, that is his priority. You know, it's kind of like a hook curl, but it's a little bit deeper. You know, usually you can use it to stop slants. It'll bite on those curl routes up the seams. You know, and that's his priority. The only way that it's going to go to the flat is if nothing's sitting on that seam. So, like if you have, let's say you have a hitch to the flat. Okay, it'll probably go. Let me just put them in that. It'll defend that hitch, and then it'll bite off to the flat. So I'm just kind of show you. He sits on the hitch, and then he goes to the flat. Okay. Now, if I don't have that on the field, let's say if I don't have that flat, and then I just go with the running back up. Okay. Watch how he plays different. Nothing's playing the flat. See how the running back gets under? He's a little bit low. He's out of position. Gives you time to make read, gives you separation. Do it again. Now what we could do, we can motion this guy in just a little bit so he can get over there to that sideline a little bit faster. You got the flat. You just pick them apart. Usually that's what you want to get in those type of situations, you know, if you're dealing with seam flats. Now, if you had, let's say a better route running back, let's say you get someone with better route running, they probably run a more cleaner route out the backfield instead of bumping into somebody. So let's say we try it again. We just go back into the 3 match. Yes sir, man, yes sir. Alright, so again, we'll do the route again, this time with the running back. Put the slant over the top. That route over there on that right is going to be Meg. So I could just put him over there. See the Meg defender comes down, now we just got the slant and the flat. I could actually, instead of running drag, let me just pull him up a little bit. Do it like that. Okay, so now see how much better that route is with the running back. And then you got that tight end down the field. So what I would do if I'm running this designed to the right, I want to make sure that I'm probably over here on the left hash because I want to be able to utilize that tight end to be a possible lead block for me. Okay, so let's go ahead and set it up again. Sometimes I could go with the route and then do that. And then he gets out of the backfield. Now we can use that tight end. If he doesn't overrun it, I could probably put like a slower tight end, I guess. Probably don't necessarily need speed right there, so let me change it up. I've actually got a package in that formation where I would just have to manually sub like Jacobs right here. Let's try this again. You'll see a lot of people run like three-match. Then you'll start seeing people run like a lot of man blitz. All right, let's do it again. Give me my slant. Got the slower tight end. And he should probably provide that better lead block. Yeah, slower tight end gives a little bit better position for stuff like that if you want to get a good lead block downfield. Unless you, yeah, or you could smart route it, I guess, if you had a faster tight end. I might actually start using this in games. Like, I'm really trying to think about next year. You know, I got a lot of personal stuff going on right now. Process probably going to be moving soon. Hopefully in the next 2 weeks. But, you know, always move on to better things in life. You know, nothing in life is guaranteed, you know, so just look at it as another chapter of my life. Alright, so that's just one easy way. Now, obviously you're going to be dealing with, you know, people that try to use those sidelines to sidelines, you know, like, people be doing all kind of weird shit, right? So you always got to just kind of find out what they like to do and then just scheme around it. Try to go into some other stuff that I like to run. I've been running a lot of I-form lately. I-form's been pretty much my go-to. It's like I-form, gun tight. Occasionally I'll come out and gun bunch. Sometimes I'll run tray wide, but not. I don't spam it. Like, I'm not like most people, bro. Like, there's some good plays in here, like this RPO alert. Because that primary read over there by X is deadly. Alright? This is a good RPO. It's probably that I don't use it more. You know, you have something like that in your arsenal. Especially someone like Waller this bad. Like, you have like a fast tight end. They can get over there. I don't know if I can. Oh, I can smart route it. Oh my goodness. Alright, it's not really going to do me much good to smart route it because it's got to be a quick read. Quick, easy passes. Yeah, don't do that. Nah, it's like really just this X route is money. And then what's going to happen is they're going to have to respect that, you know. They don't respect it. And then you're going to be able to run those solid inside zones. They're pretty annoying to stop, you know. Usually it'll take you a while to find a defense to really just sit there and stop inside the inside zones from anything. A lot of people run these options, like the read options inside zones, because what happens is, you know, it's going to freeze the edge rushers and it's going to stop their pursuit. You stop the edge rushers pursuit, you're going to limit the block sheds. You're going to be able to get the double team on the 1 tech and the 3 tech. So, you know, that's probably why a lot of people run the read options. I'm going to slow this down. I'm going to explain what I just said and what just happened. Remember what I said, when you run these read options, you're going to get the double team on the 1 tech and the 3 tech. Okay, 1 tech is going to be right here between the shoulder of the guard and the center. The 3 tech is going to be right between the tackle and the guard, right in that gap. Okay, that's your B gap and your A gap. Alright, so what happens is when you run the RPO, notice I got the double team right there. I should have had the double team there, but whatever. You know, but y'all kind of see what's going on. Do it again. Get your double teams. It's an easy staple run. A lot of people like to run inside zones, and then it's got a good option off the, you know, the back end. Obviously, fucking practice mode is not going to let you sit there and just money them to death, but it's got a good run out of it that they'll have to respect first and foremost, and that's something that you definitely need in your arsenal to make their read off that defensive end or whoever's playing that key flat zone. I'm trying to see if there's like another. Okay, it's not going to give me those. Motion him in. Alright, so there's that play. It's pretty solid. I don't, like I said, I don't run a lot out here. You got your dagger. Obviously people run it the same way, right? So you have your dagger, you have your dig. What you want is your flat zone. So you have your flat, your hitch with the running back. And then you got the key in on the crosser that everybody wants. Now obviously the only thing about trying to do that out of this formation is you don't have the that extra guy protected, right? That's just something that you have to worry about. Now you can motion him to the sideline, or I'm trying to remember, I think it's this formation. No, it's not this formation, but you just give him the flat. Wouldn't necessarily motion hike it, because and then you just boom, just kill him over the top like that. Obviously, you know, a user's probably going to be on that. So if a user's on that, usually something else will probably open up, right? So it's just something to kind of key in and think about. For instance, like you can do concepts like this. Get that tight end to block for you. There's a lot of stuff you can do out of trail athletics, and you just build off of that read option or the RPO option run as well. Like you can kind of just do a lot of stuff from there. As far as any other formations, like I try to keep things simple. I mean, there's complex stuff like the user catching, but once you get used to it, it's not as bad. There's going to be like a couple of formations where you have like these mesh spot concepts where you have wheel routes that don't necessarily go all the way out the field. Like you do the hot route wheel route, see how wide it goes versus the little mesh wheel route which goes up the seam. Any time that you usually see that, and you red zone specifically or key first downs, you get that route, what you want to do is you want to have a hot route, out route. Okay, you want to push that defender out and up. The next thing you want to do is you want to get a nice little clear out. So what we're going to do is we're going to run a dig inside, and then you'll have waller to the flat or shard up the seam. So you're going to check. Sometimes you can get over it. It just really depends, right? Let's try it again. Assuming they're in zone. If they're playing man, you're not going to get that hit. There you go. It's pretty much normal. Anytime they're in zone, that's all you got to do, man. Make sure you got a good running back that has decent catching, because they kind of nerfed the running back's catching abilities a lot this year. But you can definitely just chunk those zones up. It's not something that you're going to spam. I wouldn't suggest it. It's just key situations where you need an easy down or easy yards, 10, 15 yards. You can definitely do that versus zone. And I threw the wrong guy. Didn't even try to do that. I wish they would give Renfrow some route abilities and just give him a slant. Do it again. X was wide open. But yeah, that's another thing, man. Like, I'll run shotgun sometimes, but I'm not in it a lot because I know my offensive line isn't built for that. You know, so I like to run situations where I have, you know, more guys close to the quarterback. Some formation. Sometimes I'll come out and ace like an open and drive. You know, I might run a jet sweep and see how my opponent kind of responds to a jet sweep. You know, I always make sure your faster guys getting it. You know, you can kind of just do some stuff like that. Sometimes I'll do that on an open and drive here and there, just to kind of keep, you know, my opponent honest. If I feel like they're going to be defending that or whatever, they're going to be playing for the outside run. This run right here, this 24 zone, is real glitchy. Okay, it's going to be a delayed handoff, but your run blocking doesn't really give up shits. Like, they really got to flood those gaps. All right, so I'm just gonna run it and show you guys. Like, look, this shit is real glitchy. You're gonna get 5, maybe more yards per carry. Like, as long as they're not flooding those gaps and you running this 24 zone, it's real glitchy from the handoff. Look, I got a lineman down 20 yards downfield. Okay, so if you're playing someone that don't want to match personnel, and they're constantly, you know, spamming the same thing, like, you can come out and run this play, follow your blocks. You can get some, bro, dude, not even down. What is this? But you can get some solid yards like this, you know, just running this 24 zone, and then you can scheme off of it with the play action, right? Now, obviously, there'll be like an adjustment for the play action. Keep killing them with it. Usually I might motion a tight end out, right? But I want to run it to the other side. If you've got a right-hand quarterback, make sure you run it to the other side. There we go. So you run it like this. Now you sell it a little bit more. And what I would do is I'd probably, instead of running that comeback, because a big thing is a lot of people don't do is they run a lot of stock plays. They don't make their adjustments. You don't want two routes in the same spot on the field. Okay, when the play breaks down, if those two receivers are in the same vicinity and you need a playmaker, or if they just dead route reroute, they're going to be going to the same spot. You don't want that. Okay, so whatever you're doing, you gotta kind of think about that, think it through. Alright, so we got that. Usually what I could do, probably just send him on a vert. See, I wish I had a receiver with like those deep routes. But I'll show you. So you hit them with that, and then you got them over the top with a slower tight end. They need to get rid of that shit too. Like, you pass lead in front, he shouldn't be throwing behind. Trying to see. Trying to see if there's something I can scheme with, maybe a motion or something. Let's see. Motion him out. You know what? There is. What you can do, I don't know if he's going to come inside. Alright, now you got the flat. Got the, oh yeah, okay. Alright fellas, let me show you what I got going on right here. So obviously what we're going to scheme off this 24 zone, right? So it's going to be your go-to run. It's a real glitchy handoff. You're going to have real good blocks by your line, okay? What's going to happen is they're going to have to start respecting it whichever way you go on with it, left, right. Usually the handoff to the left's a little bit better. That lineman, saw how fast he got downfield. It's a pretty solid run. Like, I've used it against a couple of people, and I was like, man, I gotta start running this more. Look at her. It gives you time to make a read. You can definitely tear people up with this run, especially if they're playing like a lot of zone or something like that. Then when they get into the box, then you can bring this run out. Now you're gonna have to do this motion because remember what I said, you don't want routes on the same vicinity of the field. You don't want that either. Okay, let me redo it, and then we're gonna do it with the motion. So you give them the same motion. You want to scheme around the motion. Could probably kick that outside. Probably gonna have to be this way. Doesn't set his feet. Because a lot of people, man, when they're users, man, they're following shit. You know, they don't know what you're doing. Like most people they don't be adjusting the shit for real. They just be paying attention, they be trying to get the jump. See, like if I did something like that, you know, they would have to adjust to defend that because nobody's defending him. And you know, you try to do that, you're gonna take someone out of the box, and I'm just gonna eat you up with that run. Then when they get to the point where I feel like they're not gonna be paying attention to that no more, we can hit them with a play action. Usually I want to run this flip. I'm a right-hand quarterback, so try to go off that. So I could probably just run like a streak. Smart to streak. That comeback ain't it. And then just let them run like that. And we got the crosser, cross. Oh my goodness. That's probably how I'm going to have to run that. So there's two plays we have. We have the 24 zone, play action sprint. And then the last one you're going to have the stretch, which is going to be pretty much like the zone. I don't know if I can motion these guys. I mean, motion a lead block. That would be good. Okay. I just gotta find, like, I guess if he's doing like a drop zone, maybe that would be good. You want want to scheme around emotion. Emotion has to be, it's going to tell you what they're in. It's like, okay, he's in man, I'm not going to throw it. Okay? I'm just going to take the little run. Usually you'll get some pretty solid runs with these RPO stretches. As long as you're not just holding the turbo or anything like that. Just use the motion to tell you if he's in zone, if he's in man. Do like a combo. Just pay attention over there. Yes. Man. So use that motion, and then it'll tell you what you need to do. Last play, we got the PA boot. We went over. Okay, so we went over our little single bag scheme. Let's get into some other shit. Let's say you're playing a spammer, right? I get them a lot. Usually I come out in my high form to deal with these 3-4 odd spammers. You already know what they're gonna run. They run the same plays. Like, they got all these plays in this thing that they could scheme with, and this is the only play they run. Right? They'll stay in that cover 4 drop. All you're gonna do, man, just hit them with these little out routes, bro. You're just gonna get them with it all day long until they start adjusting to it, right? So anytime I see they come out and they just keep spamming, bro, just 1, 2, 3, right before he turns, just keep dotting them up. What's gonna happen is you're gonna force them to play cover 2, because they're all the same. Everybody that runs this 3-4 odd, they run the same exact shit. They're like predictable. All right, so let's say they switch off into the cover 2, thinking that they're gonna pick that out route, and then this time you go over the top of them, just like that, and you get them for more yards. Do it again. I don't know why it stopped. I guess you got the press off on it. He does like a little stutter stop. It looks like he's not gonna make the route. But you have it on both sides. Just the other side is gonna take a little bit longer to develop, because that cloud flat will play pretty deep. It's not like what you would expect most of the time. It's like the cloud flat's playing like 15 yards, it seems like. It's going to be something you have to roll out and do. So what I would do, I don't necessarily need that. I can run the slant under. Still do my check release, and then have my cover 2 beater. So I gotta probably put that in my audible instead of the out and up. Like, I like the out and up, but it's sometimes a protection in it. It's not what you want. So you'll have to run this flipped. And if we're running like that, let those 2 routes cross. I just want to see how I want to do this. I could you want it to be the primary route, so I could go drag, slant, option, just let him sit right there, and then slide protect over here, and then we'll roll out. If we have it, we'll go ahead and take a shot, but if he gets past, let's start running these flip. Lock, release, cross. So that means the running back. Probably do it like that. I hate these abilities with a passion, bro. Like, you be trying to scheme up some shit, and then the game just be like, you know, not today, buddy. So let's. Okay, so that keeps him off. Oh yeah, yeah. Yo, let's go. No, what is this? Hey, what did I just do, man? Hold on. Alright, so you want to make sure that you have the red route over there, because what that's gonna do, it's gonna be your primary target. Used to be back in the older Maddens, you would have your cone vision or accuracy bonus. I think now it's just for the quick playmakers. So if I'm not mistaken, I should be able to playmaker it immediately. I'm just gonna. Nah, that wouldn't let me. It's fine. But that, I might start running it like that. That's a good cover 2 beater. So it'll be slant, motion. We got the flat so we could block him. 1, 2. Sneak him out of the backfield. That's almost like that that bunch tight end that people would do like crazy in Madden 20, Madden 21. Y'all remember when that tight end check release route was bugged and people were just spamming the hell out of it? You know, it was annoying. Like, you know, people knew the shit was broken and they didn't care for real, right? So there's your cover 2 beater right there. And you could probably get them, like, if they're in a sink, that stutter should freeze them. Or if they're in like a quarter shell or something like that, a stutter will freeze them. So there's that. I might make that as an audible adjustment. I know I still got the sweep in the ISO. I don't know if there's like. I think it's probably the better option. What I got left, like I could put a play action in there. I don't really use too much play action out of that. I think it's power guard. This is like a power O instead of the left guard kicking, the right guard kicks. It's a good block. Probably need a faster running back for it. You got to go inside. So I guess if they're like crashing out, trying to park the Red Sea to get on the edge, you can use this as an inside run. Just go up the middle. Don't try to kick it outside. This is for people that, you know, you're dealing with people that like to do double-edged blitzes or something like that. Just run it right up the middle. Let those guards kick and push everything. Trying to blitz you, push them outside. You should get a one-on-one. If you get hit, you get hit. That's why you got a power back there. You're not supposed to be coughing the rock up anyway. So that's a good little power O, I guess. There we go. Pretty solid. You know, if you got like a little faster running back, you could probably do some damage with it. I might start using that as my go-to run for that formation. I don't like running power O into traffic. Like one thing that I don't know if y'all be watching me a lot, sometimes I'll flip my power O to the weak side, because you know, if I run it like this, I'm running into traffic. You know, probably not, you know, especially if you're dealing with people that like to baseline, pinch in, and stuff like that. Because the last thing you want is more bodies in that area of the field. So I think probably running the power guard or whatever that was might be the go-to move. I'm not going to decredit power O. It's still a good run, like right there. I was able to get a nice little run off of it. But it's all about what's in your toolbox. You don't want to go in there and just have power O in every formation. Have something to kind of scheme off of it a little bit. So I'll probably end up making that change. I think there was another run. Shit. Sorry, fellas. If I can find it. It's like a stretch. Like this 26 Duo is also a good run too. It's like a stretch that's not necessarily to the outside. It's an inside stretch. It's a pretty good run as well. So you're going to be going right behind the tackle and the tight end still, but you're going to be inside where the fullback kicks out. Fullback's going to kick out, you're going to go inside. Assuming you're using a faster fullback. When you use them slow fullbacks, you're not going to be able to get out where you want. Slow running backs too, right? What they call them, power backs. They get them easy them punch yards. And you keep punching them in the face, wear them down. And I'm gonna have a lot of that next year with Zamir White. He's gonna be taking it's either him or Jacobs. He'll be taking Barber's snaps for me as the power back. Not sure who's gonna be. I don't know who's the bigger back. Usually it's the bigger back that's gonna be taking those snaps. Barber, he be doing some work for me sometimes when I need him. But I got to get to where I use them more. I need to use them at least 5 runs a game. Short yardage situation, you know, to kind of give clearance for my receivers to rest up, but my other running back to rest up. It's pretty much the only runs. I think there was a one of these formations. Try to get back more into these, like the zone splits, stuff that I've come across that I've seen that have worked. Like this formation right here. I think the only thing that I do is a smart route, that post route. Smart route the post, come back, smart route the come back. It's still like a zone split, right? So you got to roll out if you can. You're going to get a nice little bomb over the top. Do not, I repeat, do not throw on the run unless you have an ability for it, because you know this game is ability focused. You try to do something you don't have an ability for, you're going to get a throw out of sag, you're going to get strip sag, you're going to throw an interception. Please don't do that, okay? Just set your feet. It's something I've been working on lately too. Kind of set my feet so I can get a good pass. Get out of the habit of those under pressure throws. So you deal with those under pressure throws, and I just got blue screen in practice mode. All right, fellas.